What's up, Las Vegas and Call of Duty fans all around the world? It is Champs, and I'm ready to get this started. Coming to the stage first, it's the boys in purple, looking to ice their competition. But let's see what they can do, because here comes Minnesota. Las Vegas, give a warm welcome to the Minnesota Røkkr. Coming out first is Bance. Coming out next, give it up for Cammy. Now stepping into the bright lights, make some noise for fame! And to round it out, give it up for the legend, Attach! One more time, Las Vegas, give it up for the Minnesota Røkkr!
Give you goosebumps. I don't know what will. The Røkkr trying to rock the stage and get an upset in round one against the previous champions. We'll see if they can do it. This is a team that the fans have decided have a 0.8% chance of winning. Let's see if they can defy the odds. Let's bring out the Major 5 champs.
Let's see if they can defy the odds. Las Vegas, help me welcome your Major 5 champions. For the Major 5 champions, the New York Subliners. Get loud for HyDra, Skyz, KiSMET, and Priestahh, the Major 5 champions, New York Subliners.
Taking the entire league by storm at the beginning of this season, New York Subliners already have 2 chips on their shoulders for this year, now looking to go back-to-back as the world champs for Modern Warfare 2. They have the best player in the game, the vet in Caesar and Priestahh, and the bulldog in KiSMET. They gotta get through our ace seed first in the Minnesota Røkkr. I think it's time to get the first match started, Blaze.
It's time to get it started, Allie. Las Vegas, you ready? Lando Study, let's go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the hottest ticket in town. We are live here from Las Vegas to kick off CDL Champs 2023. And, buddy, we're starting things off with the defending Major 5 champions, now facing off against the Minnesota Røkkr. I know Nables was talking about it. The environment here is absurd. Like,
oh, yeah.
This is loud. This is awesome.
This is only day one as well. We just got to Vegas. It's hot as hell as well when we got to Vegas. I'm sweating ever since I touched the ground, but This event is going to be insane, and we are starting off with a banger. New York versus Minnesota. We saw it at Major 5. New York got the better of them in a clean 3-0, and they walk away with the championship at the very end. But these 2 weeks of practice, for both of these teams, it's the most important practice all year long.
That's what we talked about, right? I mean, if you are the Minnesota Rokkr, you're coming into this matchup saying, you know what, we are 1-5 versus this team on the year, but we know what to do. We know roughly what situation we're going to be in. And also, when it comes to the practice, Jay, they've had some great practice coming into this event.
Oh, yeah, because they're on the lower side of the bracket. You're not going to be scrimming against OpTic Texas, the Subliners, Boston Breach. None of those guys are going to be playing against. You're playing against the top side. That's Toronto Ultra. That's the LA Thieves. That's Atlanta FaZe. So Minnesota Rokkr, they have been getting some great practice going into this event. And they have known for quite some time who their #1 matchup is. That's the Subliners. So when you know 2 weeks in advance, you probably know what maps you're gonna play. So look at the preparation to be prepared on all these maps in this series.
It's gonna be a blast. We're kicking off our tournament. We're kicking off champs with the good old Mercado Las Almas. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a fun one, but Jay, I wanna dive really quick into a bit more of the Minnesota Rokkr side, right? Because we're talking about this battle, we're discussing how New York are the heavy favorites, but if there is a chance for Rokkr to come away with the upset, right? To start off this tournament in the best way possible, you and I were chatting about it in the back. How valuable and how necessary is this game 1 for the Rokkr side?
Oh, game 1 is everything because New York decided to big dog them in this series and choose Team B. So maps 2 through 4 are all in favor of the Subliners. The fact that you were Minnesota Rokkr, you take Team A, you choose the map #1 that you're going to play, Mercado Hardpoint has to be a lockdown because the Mercado S&D, we saw that last time matched up, it was 6-1 for New York. The LSC low control, the Des touched on it, last 7 times that they have played it, they have lost 6 of them. So that used to be their bread and butter. They have fell off drastically there, and New York will be able to capitalize on it. So if you are the Rokkr, they got to take this map #1, and I think Clay on the desk, he said it perfectly. It's got to be through the SMGs. If you think about when Minnesota Rokkr were able to get 2 top 3 placements all year, it's always been in the SMGs. Bance and Afro at the beginning, 1.2s, and in the last event, again, Bance making play after play. So they got to be ready for this environment and this game because it's so crucial for their tournament life.
And at the same time, though, it is also a spot that obviously is never going to be comfortable for a team. You have to come into champs. You have to instantly probably take this opening hard point. But we do look at the Minnesota side. You're looking at quite a few veterans who have been in this spot many times before. We're talking about Bance and Cammy, who have been in COD Champs Grand Finals. We're talking about Attach, who has won a Call of Duty World Championship back when he was 18. Now he's a veteran. If there was a team that could come out with the composure, who could come out with the fight, it very well could be this Minnesota side. But at the same time, Jay, this team in New York, my God, they look unstoppable at Major 5. Here we go, Vegas. We're kicking off champs here on Mercado Las Almas. Let's get it.
And it's going to be the Subliners starting off on the better side, so no pre-nades off the rip. They're more focused on maintaining the left side of the mini-map, but Fane with the SMG applies that pressure early on. But New York, no, we're at the P1. Neither one of these squads are going to get a lot of this time. We're more focused on winning these gunfight for the next hill. And with only 30 seconds left, New York to look to be in full control.
Yeah, they look to be in a good spot overall. Still 25 seconds to fight for at P1. But if you have looked statistically at what really Minnesota's key to success has been, it's actually not been at this hard point. So as you said, a great opportunity for New York. And if recency tells you anything, Minnesota could struggle at the break moving forward. They managed to get a few down, and take a look at player #4 in the alley. Bance, they've got numbers right now, do Rokkr.
And this is the perfect opportunity right here for Rokkr. They get 16 seconds off of P1. They find the final gunfight onto Skyz off the rotation. That's now 3 dead. Minnesota Rokkr around the middle of the pack when it comes to winning rotations on this map, but they make the first one look easy, and now they're going to chain it to this some P2 time. New York need to find a break early on.
Oh, it's a 9-team spree. Minnesota coming out and saying, New York, how do you do? Quickly engaged, and now Attach finds himself on the 5 spree. We talked about the prior sub, but he has been dominant, especially lately with that AR. Gets a little bit hairy, drops off the spree, does not have the cruise missile, and New York thankfully break with 30 to go.
And you would take that if you are Rokkr. You get at least a good 20 to 25 seconds at the P2, and now you're forced to rotate early on towards P3, but you're still gonna have a nice little lead going into that one. Gunfights trading back and forth over towards Yellow Van, and it's going to be HyDra coming out on top with 2. So now Minnesota, they are getting a couple close spawns. Bance is going to be all the way across the map, so it's going to be a battle, a 3v3 for this rotation.
Yep, currently Minnesota with control. We'll see if they can continue to lock it down, or if the Subliners can find that early pick. That is what they're looking for whether through nades or whether through the guns, maybe even a knife. Who knows what could come to play here to kick us off on Mercado, but a minor advantage. Can that continue to build? Two players quickly fall for New York. It's all up to Skyz and KiSMET now. KiSMET's out of the fight. Caesar, last man up.
And Minnesota Rokkr, you can just tell that the practice has been playing dividend in their gameplay so far. They're usually 7th in hold percentage, but that's now 2 hills. They've been able to get some much needed time to keep the lead the way they have it. But trades going back and forth. It's all left up to Cammy. Now it's Fame in a 1v1 versus Priestahh. Can he win this gunfight for his team? He cannot. Subliners find a break. And with only 20 seconds left, Priestahh has that free time. He's relying on his teammates off the rotation. This is a battle right here.
This is, but I was gonna say, Bance, he's got check his right. Not able to win it. And now as we prepare for some extra time over at the barbershop, it's Attach again, who is destroying everybody. Jay, the rest of his teammates have 4 or 5, 6 kills. He has 13. He is coming out to play, and had it not been for 2 crucial 1v1s, this is Minnesota, who are up massively.
He knows what it's like to play in this environment, and he's showing it early on as Rokkr able to find 3 in the feed. They control back alley. They know where the Subliners are going to apply the pressure. Unfortunately, Bance loses that first gunfight, so Subliners are in a position to try to break, but Fame with the SMG, he finds 2. Minnesota right now just keeping the kills stagnant, not allowing the Subliners to get a clean 3 to 4 dead to lead to the break.
It just feels like every time, every hardpoint that we visit, they're either getting the first 30 or the last 30. Right now, they're going for the full 60. Yet to be really all that contested over at Barbershop. But who other than Attach? You need him in a big 1v1, and he is there to deliver. Continues to dominate, and now we prepare for the rotation. A big one already, Jay, if you're New York.
Yeah, Minnesota gonna find themselves up by 60 points. So it has to be a great hold from the Subliners, and it has to start with HyDra. Unfortunately, he cannot find a second kill onto Fame. So now it's KiSMET's turn. He does take down 1. It's gonna be the Subliners winning the rotation over towards P5. And now this is where you have to set up beautifully to get yourself back into this game.
It feels like if you're New York as well, Jay, like, you gotta stay composed. Like, you're already seeing Minnesota come out, dominate in ways that you're just not familiar with. And now that's gonna be 3 down off the
easy.
rip. That is 3 down already. We're talking about how New York, hey, this could be an opening, a chance for them to really get back in this game. And before we can even utter the sentence, Minnesota rush right on forward. Attach now on 5 again. Can this be the cruise missile? Not gonna happen. No streaks, no problem. Minnesota still very much so in the lead.
And the crazy thing is, the Subliners are the #1 whole team on this map. They usually have their setups down to the T, where it's very difficult to break. But Rokkr, they're playing it super patient, finding the correct timings. And that's what's been leading to them currently up by 49 points. But great shots out of Priestahh. We're going over to the second hill, in towards the cantinas. It's going to be towards the top side, and Subliner's going to be here early. But look at the route that Attach is currently taking. He's going to get the timing because one player drops. He's here for the pinch. Priestahh takes him down. New York still hold.
And you got a few New York players on sprees. I know Skyz ended up getting the cruise missile. Priestahh now on 5. The hill is broken, and there you go. For the Subliners, we're talking about the blueprint. How do you get back in this game? It came off of the early break over at Cantina, a hard point where you can lock down a ton of time. And just like that, Jay, I mean, what, if the final 30 goes to them, we are literally at a tie game.
Yeah, we're literally going to be at a tie game. So now you just focus on that next hill. Minnesota have a position with Cammy and Bance holding down Barbershop Alley. Cammy and Bance combined for 3, so New York now are going to be slow off the rotation. And with only 15 seconds left, Minnesota know that they have back alley. We can apply the pressure through this side and potentially contest it, but no, they're just going to value their life and think about that rotation. But also, KiSMET is ahead of the game. He wins a huge one-on-one versus Attach, and now he's in a situation where he has to play his life until his teammates get to him.
Momentum starting to build right now for New York. KiSMET in a big spot. He ends up falling. Sweat off the brow. If you're Rokkr, you were player count, and you were trying to figure out where the Subliners players were. And now, here comes the streak. Now that to deal with. Can Minnesota weather the storm? Trophies look to be out, and it looks like they will survive. Unfortunately, until Cammy dies by a car bomb, so he'll be out of the picture. And for the moment, it is currently a 2v2. Quite a few New York players off of respawn.
Yeah, it's only Fame and Attach here. And a couple players from the Subliners spawning out behind them. But Attach takes care of 2. FaZe finds another. And would look to be an instant break coming in from the Subliners. Minnesota hold on strong. So now with only 20 seconds left, they are playing outstanding in this map #1. Now we're going into our second half of rotations, and Rokkr currently find themselves up by 50, potentially 60 points.
And Jay, that last hardpoint, it just feels like for Minnesota, I mean, not every hardpoint is created the same. Like, you needed to get that confidence wise because obviously we started to see Subliners building up an advantage, starting to make a comeback. That last hardpoint has got to be a solid one for you, but there you see the team nade. Currently, time left vacant as we continue to battle for the bottom side of the map. Right now, Rokkr is in possession of it, and they're still winning the transition kill.
That's a big kill from Bance as well. They're more focused on maintaining headshot. If you can get a lot of this peak one time, you're basically going to be able to call a game. But you don't want to drop at the same time 2 to 3 dead because it's going to allow the Subliners to apply that pressure on through tunnel. Trades are going back and forth. Famous early off the rotation, but he loses the one-on-one to Priestahh, and the next man is up. Bance finds him. So Minnesota are chaining the P one time with the spawns. They are looking to close out the game at the next hill.
Yeah, it looks like this game is absolutely in their hands. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding. And a crucial moment in this series, a check-in quickly with the Rokkr.
I spawned here. Is he hitting tunnel?
Yeah, he's gonna hit tunnel.
Tunnel, one shot. Absolute tunnel.
Okay,
Absolute tunnel.
Do you have a streak kill? No, I do not.
So I spawned out. You guys on P4 side?
Yeah, I'm close before.
Could be deep cactus, guys.
Yeah,
right now.
You're passing cars. HyDra still tunnel.
No, he's close. KiSMET mid. KiSMET in P1.
Yeah, I'm behind him.
Let us know where you want us to go.
I am top. I'm gonna try and work
with
P1.
Oh, one shot dead. Nice,
nothing top.
I can kill time.
I'm waiting for you.
Nice, good shit.
Inner staircase.
Staircase, one shot. Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah, tunnel dead.
I have mid. I have low.
Go top.
Reinforce
I need your top. I have low guys. Skyz, nice.
They're rotating.
Guys, yeah.
Alright. One guy new. One shot new kids.
I'll take your time. Okay, I'll spawn in, okay? I'm watching shot. It could be tunnel. He's sick. One more sick. I think one's long.
You could be. I'm one shot. I'm away with you, Cam.
Yeah. So I'm already fork. Okay? No, he's behind me. Case is in fork, okay? He's on the god hitting fork.
One's close short. One's close short. Challenge edge.
Yeah, close short. That's two. Nice. Yeah, I'm good mid. Yeah.
Alrighty, Minnesota 234, New York 152. However, the lead right now looks to try to be ended. It looks to be thwarted. Big kills coming in from HyDra. Jay, it feels like one more break for Rokkr, and this one's over.
Yeah, one opportunity is all they need. One break, and Bance and attach finding 2. This might be it.
This could be
only 2 players from the Subliners left in the point. Skyz, the trade is going to be in. Last player is going to be towards the top. They have yet to take care of him as HyDra staying alive. Eventually, KiSMET gets back into the play, and the Subliners hold on for the final 30 seconds. And now you're in a situation where if you are Rokkr, you have one player committing towards his junk time. If he wins this one-on-one, he potentially win the game. But no, HyDra sniffs him out. He has a cruise missile to work with. And now it's all about this barbershop hill. And New York, they're starting off with these initial fights. Minnesota has to clutch on up.
But HyDra is bringing in the cruise missile. They also find 2, making 3 off a spawn. They know exactly where they are, but it's a team kill. A team kill comes forward. Skyz is down, and Attach wins the fight off the rim. This is your opportunity, Minnesota. This is your chance to close them out here. 10 more points to go.
That's all they need. The Subliners are applying pressure through every single alley. Skyz starts off with the first, but everyone's dropping through mid. Minnesota are gonna do it.
It looks like it. One more. Attach falls. One more point to go. One more point to go. New York, they're hanging on by a thread.
They're hanging on. They are hanging on. Minnesota know all they need is 1 second. 1-2 pieces, all that is needed. And right now, Bance with the trigger discipline, he's gonna go for it. Him and Cammy through back alley trying to make it happen.
You can tell the communication is there. Cammy trying to make a little bit of an effort toward the front. Bance finding players in the back. He ends up dropping. That's another 2 down. New York still alive. Here comes Attach. Here comes Attach. The pitch is in. He needs to find a double. Not gonna happen. And now it's about the rotation. Minnesota are here.
Subliners gotta go. Subliners gotta go. You gotta give up that time, and it doesn't look like they're gonna be there in time. Minnesota Rokkr are fully set up, but they lose the fight. Attach makes it happen. He finds the final 2, and Rokkr take map 1.
Well, that's all it took. That's all it takes to walk away with the opening hardpoint if you're Rokkr. Oh my God. It wasn't the closest based off of the score hardpoint that we've seen, Jay, but I tell you what, man, I mean, a few 1v1s go differently. I mean, if Minnesota doesn't have the massive lead that they have, This is a New York comeback.
It is, but every single time Minnesota Røkkr knew they needed one opportunity. They were slow on their breaks. That eventually is what leads to the W. Subliners are #1 in break percentage on this map. They are #1 in hold percentage. And those are two things, but they couldn't really find a lot of success, which leads to the L on map #1 versus Røkkr. Obviously, we got to talk about the world champ on that side, Attach. What a performance in map #1.
Look at the
really
hill time,
setting the tone.
Look at the hill time.
He's just doing it all, man. Almost double positive, 2 minutes in hill. He knows what it's like to be here, and he allowed his teammates to go up 1-0.
That's like Jokic numbers, like stat sheet
tripped
stuff.
up, tripped up.
I love to see that. Coming in from Mr. Dylan Price, recently brought back into the lineup. And my God, did they need him. Just an incredible start off to this game, Jay. It really did feel like Minnesota caught New York off guard.
Yep.
You know, we're talking about the ability, how you need to come out, you need to win the opening hardpoint. Røkkr, a lot of veteran experience, a chance to maybe come out and surprise. And they absolutely did that. You said it, right? This has to be a game 1 victory for Minnesota, and they came out and they grabbed it. More specifically, Attach came out and seized it.
Yeah, and it wasn't really that easy as well, because Subliners right off the rip of the game, they won a couple key gunfights. They were holding the right side of the map going into P2, but Røkkr were able to find an instant break. Every time it was a hill overturns Cantinas, New York were the team set up early. But then with about 25 to 30 seconds left, Minnesota Røkkr found the break by playing it super patient, the SMGs finding openings on the map. That eventually leads to the dub. So now with Røkkr up 1-0, you are in the advantage in this series because you have already played the Subliners on the next 2 maps coming up. You know what it was like on Mercado S&D. It was all about those first floods. It was 6-1 in favor of the Subliners. That was eventually the ending game score, 6-1 for New York. So if you are Minnesota Røkkr, I had the opportunity to talk with Attach on our podcast for the podcast, and he told me their 2 main focuses are S&D and control. They feel like their hardpoint game is about 50-50. They can square up with any team. But if you can start securing these S&Ds and get back to your bread and butter in controls, this team is definitely has opportunities to try to walk away with this chip.
Oh, I'd love to see it. Just everybody, a number of different jerseys here in the venue. Everybody going nuts. You have to absolutely love to see a performance like that coming through from our underdogs. There is the map results, 252-26. We talked about it. Mr. Attach going for 29 and 19. And now, well, the reason, Jay, why we're talking about this so much, how important this opening hardpoint was, and you obviously discussed it, was the next few maps that we're about to have. Search, Destroy, and Mercado, as you discussed. Dominant, really dominance on display if you are New York. But we got to get back to that conversation in Minnesota, how much practice that they have been doing. You have to imagine when it comes down to the vetoes, you know that the Subliners want to play you on Mercado. This is a roster that very well could be in the lab throughout these last few weeks on this map.
You got to be in the lab, especially with the teams that you were scrimming against. We're talking about Toronto Ultra, Atlanta FaZe, who are the 2nd best Mercado S&D team that we have in the league. So you're getting some great reps. You knew exactly what cost you the last time around, and that was New York just throwing them so many different looks. On their very first attacking round, they go off to beat.
Right.
And now you're forcing Minnesota Røkkr to now change their defensive setup, put players on that side of the map. On their first defensive round, they don't stack towards hedge. They know that they're going to have a trophy, but they play towards middle. They just have so many different looks. Minnesota has to be ready for those mid-game adjustments.
Yeah, they absolutely have to. Trying to learn from some of your prior mistakes is going to be huge, but I'll tell you what, man, this is a guy that it's never going to be fun to load up against. I know Clay was talking about it earlier on the desk. HyDra has been hitting unbelievable numbers. And Search, Destroy, Jay, what? And Major 5, he was at like a 1.79, something absurd. I'm being told we have an audio bite here from Mr. Paco himself. Let's go and take a listen.
You just recently took over like #1 S&D KD so far throughout the entire year. Like, where does that come from? Like, what has allowed for you to catapult yourself into being, I guess, considered one of the, if not the best S&D player in the game right now?
I've been working on my S&D a lot. Just myself, watching a lot of S&D by myself. At home at like until 2 a.m. just literally watching what other people are doing, what should I do when they are doing this. And I feel like as a team, we worked on S&D a lot. With Troy, with Javid, all my coaches, my team. So we're just on point. So it just makes my job easier to do on the map.
You'd love to hear that coming in from somebody who, Jay, has all the skill in the world. You know, you're coming into your 3rd season. If you're HyDra, right now you're an MVP candidate, and a lot of that's because of the work that he's been putting on in the back end.
Oh yeah, Search and Destroy has been his mode for quite some time, at least for the last 2 majors. He's been taking his game to a whole different level. When I had a conversation with HyDra, I told him, he said, why am I so good at search and destroy? I said, the reason what I'm looking at is because you have the raw talent to put yourself in any position to win any gunfight. But when you have that power position, it's all about staying alive in that scenario and not giving up your life for free. And I feel like he's been doing that all of Major 4, all of Major 5, and that's what now makes him the best search and destroy player in the game. And now with this team down 0-1, you gotta rely on him to try to bring it back.
And I guess the question that comes to mind is, like, if you're Minnesota, how do you game plan for somebody like HyDra?
No. Whenever you game play for one player individually, if that one guy isn't doing what you expect him to do, your whole game plan is out the window. So you have to make sure you're playing to your team's strength. And you can already see it early into this round number 1 for Minnesota Rokkr. It's a default setup. Let's spread. Let's make sure no one's going on the deep flank. No one's trying to take mid-map control. And that leads to the first blood with them now getting the bomb down at A.
HyDra looking to strike. Does not see Cammy laying on his belly. So that is a quick 2 there for the Cam man. An instant 4v2 advantage for Minnesota. And it only continues to build. P-Dog put the sniper to good use. But that is the only moment of success that you have in round 1 for New York. Minnesota, a commanding start.
And that's a great tone setter right there for Rokkr. Spread map. Now New York are going to be a little bit nervous, trying to hit those routes to go on those flanks. It's the way that they just came out in that round number 1. Rokkr now up 1-0. They need an answer on the defensive end because they're going up against the Subliners with the #1 attacking team. 74% chance at winning on the attacking side. What can Minnesota do to change that up?
I think another thing that we touched on kind of in the pregame was the importance of first bloods for Minnesota, right? That has been one of their biggest issues all season long. Cammy starts it off, obviously finds a 3K, but that first blood was massive. Into round 2 we go, flipping up the sides. New York now on the attack, but it was a lovely start there for KiSMET, but 2 quick trades end up favoring Minnesota in the end, and now we've got ourselves a 2v2, Attach and Fame versus HyDra and Skyz.
Fame already invests in dead silence as well. So he's slowly working his way up through the back alley. He's giving the info onto Attach as he's just throwing shoulders through the map, making sure the bomb doesn't go down, but HyDra, he gets that info. He's gonna put pressure over towards B. Attach just getting away with his life, playing this beautifully so far.
Quite a few players investing dead silence. HyDra has a Attach! How in the world did he just come away with that? Champs Attach is something different. Wasn't here last season and is trying to show why he deserves to be in the starting lineup, deserves to be in the brightest of spots. Is he about to walk away with another? Yes!
Attach just makes the plays happen. It looked to be a freebie for HyDra, but he gets the info, gets the snap, and wins the one-on-one. Then he reads the last player beautifully on Skyz, super patient through back banana alley. Wins that one-on-one. Fame doesn't even have to shoot a bullet. We were asking if Attach is going to be ready for the moment. Obviously, the guy's a world champion. He showed it in map number 1, and he's not slowing down so far in map 2.
It's also a lovely sight to see if you're a Minnesota fan, because it's Cammy in round 1 with the 3K. It's Attach in round number 2 that ends up coming away with the triple himself. We're talking so much about the SMGs, but right now for Minnesota, it's the ARs who are frying. Bance looking in a position to try and come away out on top, but this time it is KiSMET again toward bottom cantina that comes out on top. We'll see if New York can finally etch a round number 1 up on the board, as they will sit firmly on defense waiting for the bomb rotation.
Yeah, the bomb's going to start rotating over towards B. Attach at least has some info. The players playing in towards courtyard, but it's all going to fall into the hands of HyDra. Soul Man in towards 10. Gets a couple sound cues there around the corner, but it's not win the first gunfight. So now if you are Minnesota Rokkr, you even up the numbers. You're making it 3v3. You have Cammy watching that mid-map cross. Let's just get this bomb down.
It's also another massive gunfight, Jay, that Attach wins. It's not a trade. They end up evening up the numbers, and Cammy finds another through mid-map. Every single kill that he's found has come in a spot like this. KiSMET finds his second of the round, and now they're going to need him. Dead silence engaged as Minnesota have got that bomb down. 30 seconds to defend it. KiSMET again with another.
Now it's Fame left in a 1v2. He does have that silence, but it's not invested. He goes for the chow, wins the one-on-one, but cannot find the second onto Skyz. In a perfect position to play the trade for the Subliners. They retake successfully over at B. It all started with taking down Cammy through mid-map. And then in that position that Attach was in top 10, you probably just want to play your life in that scenario. Throw a couple shoulders, don't give up your life for free. But unfortunately, he drops and then puts FaZe in a very difficult situation. Skyz is able to win the one-on-one to allow New York to get the first.
I believe that was, I think it was it KiSMET?
First blood? Yeah, yeah.
On 3 in total. So that's what, 3 out of the first 3 rounds we've had somebody get 3 kills. So we'll see if that trend can continue. A lot of hat tricks so far. We'll see who can maybe put their name up on that board. As Minnesota have got to be ready for all these nades. Everybody in the venue a little curious about what maybe the other side of Cantina is going to look like after this round is over. Craters surrounding over toward that A site, when in reality, we're in a different spot of the map, Jay.
And this is a completely different setup right here for Rokkr, because last time they played, the sole man at B was always Bance. But this time you switch it up, you put FaZe in this position. So now, he's in such a crucial spot. He knows that the pressure's going to come in towards 10. He's playing this corner. Can he find the first blood?
Wonderful patience being established from FaZe. New York, it just feels like they've been waiting here for such a long time. And now it's giving Rokkr the opportunity to regroup and to re-engage. FaZe gifted a double, and it's a triple on top of it. Cammy delivers, Skyz with the snipe. Not gonna be there. Patience pays off here in round 4.
And Rokkr have definitely done their homework. They know that KiSMET likes to be the island player over towards A, especially when they're applying pressure over towards B, but FaZe, he's not nervous for the moment. Wins the one-on-one versus Priestahh. Finds the second onto HyDra and just shuts down that play right there from the Subliners. Telling you, man, the practice in the last 2 weeks for Minnesota Rokkr has been on point, and it's been showing so far. They're playing some stellar Call of Duty.
They are indeed. Excellent work so far from the Rokkr, coming away with the crucial kills. A veteran-like play coming in from the rookie, as we said, in round number 4. New York in desperate need of an answer, and that is the way to get right back in this round, get right back on this map, an instant 4v2, but you still have Attach and Cammy alive. This next kill very well could dictate how the remainder of it goes. Aggression there from HyDra established, and from there, it is all up to Attach. Now a 1v3.
Can't cut him out, though. Can't cut him out. He finds the first kill onto HyDra. That's the most important one, but Priestahh with the repositioning takes control of the middle of the map. They trap Attach. And New York Subliners with the aggression over towards Hedge. They're able to stop the bleeding 4 now. But what a scary gunfight right here for HyDra. He's able to win it versus Cammy. Throws down a couple shots to Attach to try to play his life as long as he can, but his teammates eventually find that final kill. Subliners down 3-2.
I think of that moment, right? If you're HyDra, you're just like, you're looking at that scoreboard. Well, obviously he's not, but we are. We're seeing he's got, he's 1-4 right now. We talked about it. He has been unbelievable in Search and Destroy as of late. Props to the Minnesota Rokkr. Well, obviously not allowed for him to have any of those crazy sprees, but just felt like in that kill where he wants to go through the doorway, he's just trying to get going. Trying to get a little bit in sequence. Is now into this next round we go. Minnesota once again answering off the rip, and it's Cammy with another first blood, Jay.
Oh, Cammy takes down Priestahh. Such a crucial fight because we pay attention to your mini-map. HyDra already invested that dead silence. He's gonna be behind him in through dark, and he is gonna get spotted by FaZe. He gives the comm to Attach. They take down HyDra. Now it's a 4v2. Skyz does take down 1, but the trade is there. Now it's all up to KiSMET. Minnesota Rokkr on the back of the first blood. Play for the information. Allow the teammates to help each other in those scenarios and walk away with the round again. Now up 4-2.
And how about you, Jake? But it kind of builds upon the point that we made last round, where it feels like HyDra's trying to get going. He's trying to make plays. We talk so often in S&D about how at times it can be KiSMET who's the one making flanks. HyDra's like, no, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Invest that dead silence as you talked about, and he has shut down again. Minnesota have absolutely done their homework. They have been waiting eagerly for this series. And as we said, the last match that they played at Major 5 was versus this New York team. And so with that in mind, they've got a lot of research to work off of. Into the next round we go. And thankfully for Minnesota, you have got nobody here at this B site.
Yeah, there's no one over towards 10, but at least Skyz is able to get that shoulder in and spot them on the left side of the map. So his teammates know where the pressure are coming in, but everyone's gonna be late off the rotation. They're still thinking that the pressure's going to be over towards Cantinas, but the bomb is going to get freely painted for Minnesota Rokkr. Now it's a 4v4 retake with 45 seconds.
We're looking at that score. This is the swing round, right? This is one for New York that you have to grab. You are in threat of going down 2-0 versus Rokkr. You're going to have to come away with something special. Retake about to go down as Minnesota prepare, waiting for the members of the Subliners to enter in toward their reticle. Can they walk away with the first blood? No! HyDra, an excellent answer! Dives right on in, but it's Bance who's there to trade. One last player alive, Priestahh. 15 seconds to go. He's gonna pull off something amazing. Pull off a miracle. Time continues to tick, and this will be the round. Minnesota now up 5-2.
That's just a perfect play call right there for Rokkr. They apply the pressure over towards 10. I thought Skyz, when he threw that shoulder, he was going to give the info to his teammates so they can slowly start to work that retake a little bit earlier. But by the time they applied pressure to get in towards the site, you saw Attach, he was all the way across the map watching that deep flank. He finds the timing to reposition through the middle of the map, find that first blood, and start off right in the trade engagement. It leads to Minnesota winning the round and now finding themselves at game point. New York have to figure something out because Minnesota, they are making the adjustments, and it might be a nade to do it.
Play was touched on how many free nades that we're going to see so far. Not a ton on Mercado, but how in the world does that gunfight not get finished off? We'll leave that for later time. P-Dog with the snap, and now it's all up to Fame. Makes it a 1v2. Still plenty of time on that clock, but it's about to go down. Now 45 to work with, 2 players to face off against. This is not going to be an easy site to retake, but he's got information. Does not work out. New York able to stay alive for the moment.
Yeah, big nade to start it off, man. They needed that one to start off with that first blood. You apply the pressure over towards Hedge. You come out on top of the majority of those engagements, and then Fame in the 1v3 does take down one, but once the bomb is down, Skyz gets that info that he's applying the pressure through tunnel, Priestahh through top balk. Go for the double team, child, to stay alive a little bit longer in this search and destroy. So now the Subliners are down 5-3. But just the way that Minnesota Rokkr have been playing on the attacking rounds, some pressure over towards A, some pressure over towards B. If you're the Subliners, it's got to be a full-on split.
Well, Jay, it's a lot of stuff that you talked about the last time these teams faced off, right? I mean, so many looks is what really won New York the game so far for Minnesota. It's been the exact same. Nade over the top, gets HyDra out of the fight. Well, Bance is shooting dead bodies. It just feels like with HyDra, you got to put in an extra few bullets just to make sure that the man is down. Trades continue to go back and forth, but this time it's Fame who falls. New York even up numbers.
Yeah, it's a 3v3, and you have KiSMET already runs out of that dead silence. He's working that deep flank to try to take down Cammy. But time is starting to tick. Uh-oh. Cammy gets the right timing. He takes down the first, but KiSMET's there for the trade. 25 seconds, 2v2.
And right now for Minnesota, you have the information. You know they can only come in from one of 2 ways. Attach watching one angle, Bance watching the other. It's a crossfire, but now it's a 1v1. Bance is there to deliver. And Røkkr now firmly in control. Now up 2-0 in the series. Just like we all predicted, Jay.
Exactly like we predicted, Lando. Minnesota Rokkr, Mercado, so far this morning, this afternoon, has been their playground. They've taken in map number 1, the search and destroy. They had so many different looks that the Subliners were not prepared for. And even though they did lose that first blood battle, they were clutching up in these engagements. Fame was making plays. Cammy starts it off with 3, attached with multiple one-on-one clutch gunfights. Minnesota Rokkr are looking like a well-oiled machine right now. Teamwork on full display. Now they're up 2-0 in the series.
I don't want to talk too much about what was being discussed in the green room, but we were hearing that during the veto process, Minnesota looked a little shaky.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially, maybe didn't really know what was coming. Jay, they knew exactly what was going on. They're playing some mind games right now. Back-to-back Mercados. We're talking about how New York are absolutely the favorite, and already our defending Major 5 champions, Jay, are down 0-2, 1 map away from already being in the elimination bracket.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this, man. Obviously, everybody was expecting New York to be able to win this series, not be down 0-2, but Minnesota came to play today, man. We're at chance for a reason. Anything can happen.
And the craziest part is that these teams have a lot of history on this map that's about to be on your screens before we head to that El Asilo on control. We got to hit a quick commercial break, but make sure and stay tuned. Can Minnesota walk away with the 3-0, or can New York, our defending champions, finally wake up? We'll have to find out. We'll be right back right after this.
The CDL is brought to you by your favorite orange bandicoot. Pre-order Crash Team Rumble today. Available June 20th. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL.
Alrighty, friends, welcome back to CDL Champs 2023. We're just in our first series, and we're already witnessing what could be one of the more wild upsets of the tournament, maybe even of this season. Our defending Major 5 champions, the New York Subliners, Jay, are down 0-2 versus the Minnesota Røkkr, who just lost to this very team 0-3 just weeks ago, and now we have our Game 3 up next. Are you feeling a sweep, or do you think this is for New York to wake up?
I just think the way that Minnesota have been playing so far in this series, the practice has been shown.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they need to do. They know exactly the maps they're going to play against the Subliners, and aBeZy was the biggest one that was circled because they know New York are not messing with them on Expo. You don't want to play New York on Hotel, so aBeZy was already locked as soon as this matchup was in the books. So if you are Minnesota Røkkr, up 2-0 in this series, definitely caught a couple people off guard. You have the opportunity to close it out in 3 because this used to be your best controlled map. You were 10-0 before you started losing a couple. 6 out of the last 7 times they have played it, they have taken an L. But when you are practicing against the #1 control team in Toronto Ultra, the #2 aBeZy control team in Atlanta FaZe, you best believe they are ready for this match.
That's exactly right. As we said, practice-wise for Minnesota, you're coming into this match and you know what that swing map is going to be. And as you discussed, right, they're facing off against teams on the other side of the bracket. Just a wonderful opportunity here for Minnesota to play a map that I'm sure they have been working on day in and day out. But now for the Subliners, you have to rely on Old Faithful. You have to rely on a map that you've taken pretty consistently versus this Minnesota team as of late. And right into round 1 we go. It is New York on the attacking side as the Bulldog looks to get things going. A lovely little 3-0 start for him as we are halfway through at A.
Yeah, KiSMET had a slow start in that map #1. He's looking to bounce back. Try to allow his teammates to start off the reverse sweep. That's already 2 segments done at the A point. New York are currently up by 3 lives, so Rokkr, they're just going to decide to chalk this one up, play for the exit kills. Subliners extending the time. It's all about fighting for that map control. And look how patient Skyz is playing in towards white. He knows that his teammates are all on the opposite side of the map, but that's a power position that you have to hold.
Yeah, it's great work from New York to just be aware of each other's arrows. The comms, absolutely fantastic right now. Problem being, HyDra's out of the fight. So that's now going to allow for Skyz to maybe have to reposition. A few of your players are dropping past that 50-yard line. So all of that wonderful play, all of that patience ends up going to a bit of a collapse, but we'll see if they can build upon it. They'll have to work out of their spawn. Great kills coming in from HyDra. Quite a bit of damage. Lands that nade, at least it looked like it. However, Rokkr come through and deliver another quick triple. New York now in their base. Skyz the only man who's past that 50-yard line now.
Cammy's just finessing in towards white. He was able to find 5 in a row, earns himself at least close to the cruiser, so if he can pick one else up. He takes down HyDra, can't find the kill on the KiSMET, but job already done. That's 40 seconds wiped off the clock. You know your teammates still have full map control, but just in case it gets a little scary, you got that cruise missile to work with. Only a minute left. Subliners have full field control, so they can start to put pressure from the front end. But as long as you're Rokkr trading efficiently, that's another 3 dead in the feed. They are doing what they need to do to win this defense.
And just a subtle detail, in that little player cam, you can see Fame, he's actually screen peeking, looking at his teammates. That's something that Bance loves to do traditionally. You can tell Rokkr right now are grouped up and they're ready for every single little bit of attack that New York looks to make. This has been picture-perfect defense so far throughout these last few minutes, but this is the chance. This is the opening for New York that will pause the time at 39 seconds.
Oh, HyDra's able to find 2. He's still finessing. He's still dancing around BS&D, but Fame wins the one-on-one. And attached to the back end takes down Skyz. So with only 30 seconds left, potentially the final push coming in from the Subliners. KiSMET and Priestahh started off. Now you can get on that beat point, stop the clock, but it's all about these next wave of fights. And look at the route that Bance is currently trying to go on.
Bance currently in a gun engagement, trying to win that one versus Skyz. Not able to do so. It's a nade that ends up taking down Mr. Benjamin, but it's Cammy with the streak over the top. The man is at 9-4. Pacing early here in round 1. New York doing everything they can, trying to utilize the smoke to be their cover. Time currently paused at 17 and change. They continue to build it up, but it's 2 quick ones there for the Rokkr. Any segment is big right now for New York. Does not feel like this round is going to go their way, but they continue to dive deep. They continue to work hard, but Attach comes through with the few, and that very well should be it, Jay.
He just shut it all down by himself. He found all 4 kills with that AR in hand. Doesn't matter, up close and personal, he makes it happen. Fame with the final 2. You have a couple players from the Subliners going on flanks, but now it's the soul man here. It's HyDra. He gets taken down. And Minnesota Røkkr, for 2 minutes and 15 seconds, hold down the B point. When it got a little bit scary, Cammy invests that cruise missile. You take down KiSMET. But then it was all on attach, man. He gets 4 in those final moments to secure the round for Røkkr. They used to be the best team on defense. They struggled as of recent, but that's the team that we know of old. Røkkr up 1-0.
Yes, you said, Røkkr, their defense at the start of the season, around 80%. And then in their last few losses, it's actually gone down to around 25%, but that is vintage stuff. Here from Minnesota, we were talking about New York, it's been Old Faithful. I guess you could say rather it's been more of a recent one for them that they've been taking versus Røkkr. In reality, this is Old Faithful from Minnesota. This was a team that at one point was 10-0 on this map, and right now they're relying upon it to possibly deliver a 3-0 versus the Subliners. Job done in our opening round, but can they do it on attack? A lot of this game could be decided in this round potentially. If FaZe can earn this streak, a cruise missile on attack, you will take it. 1 away.
Yeah, he's just playing his life. He knows how crucial this one-on-one gunfight is going to be. With his teammates dropping around the map, just check a nice little corner and play for 1 gunfight, which is all that is needed. Subliners fully pushed up all the way through A side, and HyDra wins the up close and personal to take down Fame, shuts down that cruise progression. But at least it opens up a lane for Minnesota to now apply the pressure over towards B, but every single player drops beside attach. It's gonna be easy to get these guys all spawned, but you gotta be able to stop that clock. Time to wrap back, get towards A.
Oh my God, attach again, goes low. Hits him with the old drop shot. Bance finally puts up his 3rd kill here so far of the game. Was at 1, I believe, heading into this round. So we're talking about slaying. You need it so often on LOClo just to get out of your base. You're starting to see collaboration, some kills coming in across the board. And from there, that is what allows you to hop on that A objective. Time by no means still in a great position. New York could go for the late contest. That appears to be the case. HyDra with 1, trying to go for a pre-fire. New York do not want to allow for this one to go the opposite direction.
Don't want to try to get this one up for free. You still have players contesting it, but you also don't want to lose these gunfights too quickly and allow Minnesota Røkkr to go for the chain over towards B, but that's going to be A out the way. They tied it up in the lives column. Now Subliners have to hold strong on their defense over towards B for a minute. You already have Skyz in a position towards white. You have full control of back 10. It's all of Minnesota trying to apply the pressure through the back end. Advance in a crucial position, but that nade takes him down. He was trying to spawn New York on the opposite side of the map. But once he gets taken care of, New York, no need to worry. They're still in full control.
And Cammy eventually gets spot out as well. That just goes to show how important the Bance can be on the map. He stays alive. Minnesota have a little bit more reinforcements to maybe make a play toward the backside of the mountain, to the backside of the spawn. There from the Subliners, but 35 seconds still to go. Can New York continue to hunker down, to lock it down? Røkkr end up finding 2 in stride, so this next gunfight's gonna be massive. KiSMET trying to even up the numbers while it's Fame going for info.
Yeah, Priestahh knows that at least a player has to be close to me. I gotta back up, try to play my life as long as I can because my teammates are spawning across the map. Fame takes care of him, but New York still do a great job of trading efficiently. Priestahh and HyDra combined for 2. Now the sole man here is gonna be Fame. With only 15 seconds left, he has to go big, and he gets sniffed out by KiSMET, and this is looking like a Subliners round.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Final few lives are up for Minnesota. Maybe one last contest at this. Yeah, Attach, he ends up falling in stride. Final resting place is gonna be at the soccer field. And thankfully for New York, they're able to find an answer. Back-to-back defenses so far here on LOClo.
Now, if you are the Subliners, you're currently up by 2 segments. So if it does go to that round number 5, you will have that defense. But on the attacking side, we saw early pressure over towards A. They got those initial gunfights. They were able to extend the time all the way to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. But they just couldn't find an opportunity over towards B. So the game plan probably is going to be a little bit different for the Subliners. You find the kills at the right time, especially right off the rip. Let's try to transition over and capture that B point because that's a lot more difficult to get done.
Let's see what the attempt looks to be. Looks like it is going to be somewhat standard off the rip. Try to look for some control toward bottom warehouse. Maybe get some players into A, maybe transition over toward that B zone, which as we said is the more difficult of the two. The more prized possession on this map is to get B out of the way. But Right now for New York, you're not really dealing with a whole lot of house money at the moment. Big gunfights coming in once more from the Røkkr. Bane trying to cause some havoc really all across the map. Into Warehouse he flies. And from there, it is Bance who wins another one. We've been talking so much about the ARs.
Okay.
Right now, it's the SMGs who are having themselves some fun.
And he's starting to turn up. Like you said, in round number 1, he was sitting at 1 and 9, but now that's 2 in a row. 7 kills to his name. We know what Benjamin Bance is known for, and that's the plays and the routes that he likes to hit. Subliners have been yet to complete that first segment over towards A. They're trying to transition over towards B, but finally they take care of Bance. They can try to apply the pressure through the front end, but as long as Minnesota Rokkr have tower control, have to commit over towards this B point.
And that kill on the HyDra was huge. Problem being attached doesn't stay alive for much longer, so right now for New York, the spigot of spawns continues to flow to the top side of the map. Right into B we go, and now it's Priestahh looking for a bit of information. Tarzan, as he climbs up the mountain, eventually does fall. But thankfully the time still is paused. Right now for New York, you're just hanging on to a few crucial lives just to stay intact. The player on that zone ends up falling, and from there, we're now left with 24 seconds. New York have got to get something going.
Yeah, they're over towards A. HyDra knows we're not going to be able to get towards B. Let's just transition to the easy one. Only 24 seconds left. You have to just clutch up in these fights. FaZe has him one shot. Bance is going to fly for the kill. And now it's Priestahh, the only guy here. He gets cut down. There's only 20 seconds left. Subliners have 2 segments done, but you cannot lose the round like this because Minnesota are going to take back the lead.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? You have really nothing done on the objective side if you're the Subliners. There's kind of a no-duh type of situation for Minnesota. They instantly recognize the push has got to be made over at A. But thankfully for New York, they've won a few fights out of spawns. Right now, it is HyDra and Skyz, the Val Pals, who are trying to lead the charge and to keep this round going. Collectively on a 5 spree as we will gain another minute on the clock as New York desperately continue to search for the first attack of the game.
Yeah, they're able to extend the time, but for how long? Because there's only a minute left. You only have 11 lives remaining. You only have 1 to 2 more good pushes to make this attempt happen over towards B. You don't really have a lot of map control. FaZe takes down 1. FaZe takes down the 2nd, and Bance with the 3rd. New York forced to hit the reset button besides Skyz. And with only 45 seconds left, Rokkr just need 1 more hold.
This gunfight, I was gonna say it's massive right now for Skyz. He's got a lot of work to do. Not only needs to find this kill, but also needs to kind of establish himself in top party, continue to be a beacon for attention. But right now, attached, he's just having a blast. He's hanging out on the backside of the map. Skyz eventually pieces him. That's going to be 2 right now for New York. They found that opening. They've got 3 players surrounding this objective. Right now for Rokkr, they're put in a spot where they're going to have to contest, Jay.
Oh yeah, and Fame, he's trying to find the opening through the flank, but that's already the 2nd segment done. Not a single player from Rokkr is near the point. Fame eventually does take down Priestahh, and unfortunately the team name for HyDra, but it does not matter. The Subliners needed 1 opportunity. They get 3 dead. They know that Fame was in the back of their space. They leave him alone. They stack the point, and eventually leads to the round win. At the very end of that round, Subliners able to clutch on up. Now put themselves up 2-1.
I can imagine sitting in the back. You know, we have the opportunity to see the coaches and stuff, you know, that are watching the game, trying to strategize, figure things out. I think in that moment, when that nade lands, we see the team kill, I think Cinder and D-Roll, their heart had to drop
100%.
in that moment. Just like, wait, okay, a team kill happens? Okay, cool, we still got the round. Sweat off the brow if you're a New York fan. As they do grab our first attack of the game. Can they build upon it? Can they get us out of LSCLO nice and early? Or can Minnesota pull off some magic again? It's gonna have to be through the attacking side here. And already it is Bance eager to get to work.
Yeah, Rokkr had to start off with this one. It's gonna be back-to-back attacking routes. They want to try to close it out in 3-0. Already 30 seconds knocked off of the game clock. Subliners in full control of Radiant Tower towards A. So you're forcing Minnesota to apply the pressure up through field. Cammy does take down 1. Cammy goes for the 2nd as well. So Minnesota have the opportunity to try to close out this B.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to do right now for Minnesota. Get B out of the way, at least chip away at a few of those segments. Currently doing a great job. Player number 70, KiSMET, he ends up falling back inside of the base. So you're doing everything that you have to right now if you're Rokkr. And right now, I believe it's Cammy, yeah, who's actually over toward top mountain. He continues to find players in stride. Jay, he has been so solid in this series. He's been on like multiple 4 or 5 sprees, had a few cruise missiles come in, and right now he's looking for another. New York end up finding 2, but for Minnesota. They just continue to wipe away time at B.
Yeah, that's at least the second segment done, but now Subliners have full map control. That's a clean 3 dead. They're forcing all of Røkkr to try to fight out of their base. Bance starts it off with the first. The rest of his teammates still got to check their corners. The Subliners are great on defense. With only 20 seconds left, they're trying to force that game 4.
Fame, understandably so, has to bring in the cruise missile. Information is all that he will have. Cammy desperately hunting for something, but he ends up getting dropped as well. Røkkr working from their base, but there is a man who still remains, and that is Bance, bringing out the AR, keeping the game afloat. They jump on B. Can they gain this extra minute? Bance falls. Cammy too. Can they get over toward A? It looks like they have. Minnesota hanging on by a thread as New York continue to style. This map is over.
And the Subliners stay alive. They come out in LSClo. They know what it's like to play against Minnesota Røkkr on this map. And all it really took was that one attacking round to close out this entire one, to keep them alive in this series. It was just beautiful adjustments from both squads. Great mid-map presence, great slaying from the Minnesota Røkkr. They had like 3 cruise missiles throughout the entirety of the map, but they still could not get the objective done as the Subliners walk away with the control up 3-1. Now down 2-1 in the series. And now it gets a little scary for me if you are Røkkr, because the Subliners choosing Team B, we knew that they were going to be able to choose map number 2, map number 3, and map number 4.
Right.
And as we go into the map number 4, it's going to be HyDra hardpoint, where the Subliners are basically the #1 team on the map.
That's exactly right, my friend. And, you know, we talk so often about New York when it comes down to their success. It always comes down to control, right? They're 25-2 in series. When they win the control, they get the job done here. And I know we're talking about that next map, but it just feels like for me, buddy, in this one, it just came down to the attack, right?
Yeah.
They find that opening, they win that. Now they're in a position to lock things up on the following defense. Just great job across the board. What do you see there?
I was just looking at the time remaining on the clock. Like, Minnesota Røkkr, they found themselves in multiple scenarios where they could have walked away with an attacking round. But Subliners, when they applied the pressure, when you allowed them to put themselves in certain positions to get one and get out with their life, that's what made it super difficult for Røkkr to try to find a clean 2 to 3 dead, to take some map control and try to complete that B point. But the Subliners are 2 major champions for a reason.
Yeah.
They know exactly what it's like to be in this position. The series is never done until it's done. With them winning the control, they have a date on that HyDra.
Yeah, it's wild, right? Because we're talking about instantly, right after the first 2 maps, Minnesota feeling good, all momentum at their side, and just with that one map, it feels like the entirety of the series has shifted, just given the talent that New York has, given the massive disparity it felt like between both of these teams coming into this series. But talk to me a little bit more about HyDra hardpoint. What have you seen so far from both of these teams? New York, Minnesota, who do you think comes out on top? Give me the reason why.
Oh, the reason why I believe New York are probably going to take this map is because they're #1 on rotations. That means they're getting their better side of the map every single time, and they're also second in hold percentage. Their SMGs love to hit the water routes. We know what KiSMET likes to do, so that's something you have to definitely pay attention to if you are Røkkr. And if for Minnesota, the way that they have to get it done is the same way they got it done in map #1. That was all about the breaks, man. You win a couple key rotations, that's perfect. But if you can break the perfect setups coming in out of Subliners, and that's the way you did it in map #1, you have the ability to do it in this map #4 to close out the series.
Now, I don't know, like, does it almost feel like to you, though, in some ways, this is a bit of a positive for Røkkr to play HyDra? Again, kind of maybe stats out of the way a bit, but at times on HyDra, like, this is a chance where you can kind of slow down the game. It's so much focus on the spawns, maybe an opportunity to catch a few of those aggressive play styles out in the open. Is there any merit to that?
It's a positive thing going forward if they win the series. If you walk away with this in a 3-1 and you haven't really played HyDra a lot with this roster, you're feeling fantastic. They're only 1-1 ever since Attaches entered the lineup. They played it twice.
Yeah.
Lost once, they won once. So they know what it's like to play on this map. But when you're playing a team like New York on HyDra, and if you beat them on it, that's going to instill a whole bunch of confidence going forward throughout the rest of the tournament versus teams that they weren't expecting to play HyDra. If you beat the best team on HyDra, why not?
That's exactly right. And another thing that we can discuss when it comes down to really both of these sides, but specifically HyDra and the boys of the New York Subliners. You and I had the chance to chat with the Subliners ahead of that major 5W.
Yeah.
What did Coach Cinder constantly talk to us about? confidence. And what really does it take when you're going through an elimination bracket run like New York did at Major 5? It takes confidence. You've had your fair share of some wild elimination bracket runs. New York have done the same. It is so much about relying on your teammates and really just kind of getting the momentum flowing. And right now, New York has the momentum.
Yeah, you just took the last map, and they know. They have won 2 majors this year. We know what it's like to hold the trophy at the very end. We're never out until the series officially says 3 on the opposite side. So you best believe Troy Highcal Michael Sender is giving them the speech. He's hyping up HyDra. He knows that that guy is different, getting them a little bit gassed up going into this map number 4.
Who's a good boy, HyDra? You're a good boy. Let's go. Let's try to win up some HyDra HP. Let's get ourselves right back in this series. Tell you what, it also would be kind of fun to kick off champs with a good old game 5. Ooh, you and I, we have a history with those. Bryce and Tom, we're looking at you guys, but to HyDra HP we fly. Jay, we're taking a look at the records. You can see the numbers absolutely favoring New York as this is their map choice, but and there's 2 players you're looking at, one from New York, one from Minnesota. Who's that going to be?
I think it's got to be attached from Minnesota. He set the turn early in that map, number 1 HP. And then on the opposite side, it has to be Skyz for me. The other main AR for this roster had a slow start in that control, even though it leads to the W. They didn't really have the best performance in that map, number 1. So the ARs in those power positions, it's going to be some crucial one-on-one fights between those 2 players.
So Jay, I want to talk about HyDra for a moment, right? We got a lot of new viewers watching champs. Obviously, when it comes down to this event, incredibly excited to have you guys. What is HyDra all about? What are teams looking at right now on the map?
Right now, what you're mainly paying attention to, we know, in a majority of these hard points, the P1 is always going to be scrappy. It's all about the gunfights going into the next hill, and right now, Minnesota Rokkr, even though they're not getting time off of this P1, there is no need to panic because P2 is a money hill. You just cannot allow any players from the subliners to slip through. Multiple water routes that you have to try to pay attention to, but screw the water. We're just going to go right through the front. The subliners take down 2. They're trying to flip the spawns, but at least Minnesota Rokkr still staying alive on the right side of the map, gets that spawn for Bance to win that rotation towards next.
Yep, New York all the time at P1, but you're not angry about that if you're Minnesota, as you said, given that you're going to have that hard point up next. HyDra looking to make the play. Oh my God! See you later, Bance, and it's a break instantly from New York. As solid as you'd like. My God, what a break that was, Jay. I'm speechless.
That's just a clean 4 dead right there from the subliners. Now it's time for KiSMET to go for a swim.
They even had a stun come over the top and kill somebody.
Priestahh took one down with a stun as well. So now if you are Minnesota, the game is shaking up a little bit. You were expecting an answer over towards B2, but with the subliners finding an instant break and with only 20 seconds left, you are now forced to give this one up. Rotate early over towards P3, put your team in the proper setup to get some much needed time to try to get back into this game.
It's like if you're in the Minnesota comms, you just hear everybody just with the side and you're like,
oh my.
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna try to rotate. Maybe, I don't know, maybe try to recontest this a bit, but my goodness, already off the rip, New York up major. Rokkr, well now you're gonna have to be the ones that stay composed. Skyz gifted a free 2-piece, and from there, it's time for HyDra to get going.
And now Minnesota have to get out of the hill again. They know that the pressure's coming in. Teammates are spawning all the way across the map. We have to clutch up in a couple of these gunfights, and Cammy's the man to do it. He takes down 2. HyDra takes down 2 of his own, and with Priestahh in this position, they get the close back spawns. HyDra just did it all to break this hill individually, and now he's applying pressure through the front end. The French phenom is starting to take over.
And this is why many currently call him the best player in the game, starting to level up his performance, and right now having himself a swim. HyDra looking to hydrate. And right now for New York, they eventually do get wiped off the point, but they have made their presence felt so far here on HyDra. Now to path is what we're gonna rotate. And it is HyDra trying to be a thorn in their side. That's now gonna be 5 in a row, and really a Minnesota team that's gonna be filled with anxiety, filled with stress, trying to figure out where he is. Finally cut down, but it's a cruise missile regardless.
Yeah, cruise missile now earned for HyDra. And now if you are Minnesota Rokkr, you didn't really have an opportunity to put yourself in the best setup because you were trying to locate where HyDra was going to apply the pressure from. But this is some much needed time for them to get back into this one. Do the subliners decide to invest that cruise missile? Most likely not, because they have players in some great positions. HyDra and KiSMET already combined for 2, make it 3. The spawns now flip. Another break for the subliners.
And this is the subliners that we saw at Major 5, Jay, a team that is so scary when it comes down to their breaks. HyDra causing some problems through the water. He was lighting everybody up. You see KiSMET on 3. Skyz gifted another double. Flying through the air. He's looking like Spider-Man. Oh, he gets the 3rd. New York are styling so far throughout this game. Nearly up 100 points as Minnesota go on retreat, tail between their legs. Can they finally lock down a hardpoint, Jay?
It doesn't look like it's going to be the case, though, because Skyz and KiSMET already find themselves behind enemy lines. Now HyDra at least takes down one, but there's 3 players here from the Subliners trying to go for a break. It's all on Fame. He does take down 2. He's waiting for his teammates to get back into the play, and so far that has led to a great hold. The rookie is making it happen for Minnesota to try to get back into this game, but when I say that, Subliners right through the front for another break.
That's the problem, right, for Minnesota. It just feels like they're having to work for every single second. As you said, Fame comes away with a lovely double, locking down time. Then the rest of his teammates end up dropping. Bance comes away with a few kills, but it doesn't matter. New York are constantly placed inside of that objective. It's going to be a 100-point lead as we get ready for the second set of rotations. And really, if you're Minnesota, you're just trying to keep your head on straight. Just try to focus and hopefully, Jay, have a much more successful start to the second set of hardpoint.
Yeah, it has to be in their hold percentage because they're winning a rotation every single time. Every single hill so far, they have been the team early on. Just came down to the setups and New York finding those openings, finding those initial gunfights to find the break. But now currently down by 100 points. You currently find at least Bance in a position trying to hold down these P2 spawns. He gets the timing. Once he finds that kill, his teammate spawns up all on the right side. With the Subliners, the lead they currently have, they can play for this remaining 40 seconds. They can play for all this time at P1 because they know that Minnesota have 2 things that they have to focus on.
Yeah, like for New York, like you've eaten your vegetables. You've done all the hard work. Now it's just a matter of really do whatever you'd like. You have the ability to play with house money at the moment. And right now they're looking for another break over at P2. Minnesota beginning to crumble like the foundation that they sit in. Applying the pressure. Another cruise missile for the French phenom as New York now have got that spawn ready to go. P2 is about to be their home.
Yeah, this game is basically locked up for the Subliners. They are doing everything that they need to do. On the first rotation of hardpoints, it was all about the break. So far, on the second rotation, it's been the rotations where they're the team early set up. Priestahh, HyDra, and KiSMET already combined for 3. They're going to be able to breach that 200-point mark. But it's only a matter of time before they're able to force that game 5.
Oh, and HyDra. Look at his numbers, Jay. He's at 20-8.
Feet kicked up.
Oh, here comes some more. Quick little engagement, Minnesota. They just gotta go. Green light engaged, but they just continue to not win the trades. KiSMET, now he's on 4 in a row. New York, not a chance to necessarily win it here, but it's not going to be all that much further once this hardpoint comes to a close. We talk about momentum. We're talking about a team who's got to dig deep, got to be ready. Minnesota delivered a nice little blow, but New York, a knockout punch here in game number 4. Can Minnesota even reach 70 points, Jay? I don't think that's possible.
I don't think it's possible, but at least they do win a couple key gunfights off the rotation. And they're fully set up over towards this P3 again. But now Priestahh on the route, trying to flip these spawns for his teammates. He knows they're applying the pressure through the front end. All they need is one break to close out this game. He gets the first gunfight. Cruise missile invested. HyDra takes him down. Subliners are in. They're going to close out the game.
Yeah, it just feels like you're faced off against a guy who's been like grinding in a few different games. New York, they have every single attribute, every single thing going in their favor. And that very well could be the knockout blow of this series. 100-point club here in game 4 as New York are more awake than they've ever been. Game 5 to kick us off in Vegas, Jay.
Remember the question you just asked me before the map started? Is Minnesota going to decide to play HyDra in the rest of this series? Well, after that performance, it's probably not going to be seen for that organization for the rest of this tournament. The Subliners, best team on HyDra, now extends their record to 10-3. You just saw the way how easy the map was for them. It's not like Minnesota were doing anything bad.
The first P2.
The first P2, right off the rip, man. They get like 20 seconds off of P1. Minnesota like, all right, it's all good. Don't worry, we got the rotation. We're gonna be fully set up with about 20 seconds to put ourselves in the best possible setup. But every single time they had that opportunity, Subliners found the break time and time again to now force the game number 5. We knew that these guys had fight in them, but that map number 4 was a beat down. So now if you are Minnesota Rokkr, Gotta go backstage, hit the hard regain, because this map 5 is everything.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be unbelievable. I cannot wait to see how this series will conclude. Minnesota started off looking phenomenal, but New York are defending champions. They've woken up here in Game 3 and delivered one of the more impressive W's that we've seen on the season. A dominant HyDra dub. Who will walk away with the series and move on? We will find out right after this break. I love you. It's just...
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL, and the GMC Hummer EV pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty Championship 2023. It's time to take a look at our Scup play of the game and what has been a wild series to kick us off. And Jay, we're taking a look at that man HyDra. Got the pre-game speech from Coach Sender, and he took off here in Game 4.
Yeah, he said, I love you, because he knows what this young man is capable of. HyDra in full takeover mode in this map number 4. It all started with that one-on-one versus Bance towards the back of P2. And at that point, he just doesn't slow down. This is another rotation where Minnesota thought that they had the advantage, but just still looking for where HyDra is. Yeah. And when they get over towards the next hill, HyDra finds 3 to break it by his damn self. This guy is just unbelievable when he's playing at this level, and that showed in the scoreboard. 250 to 66 to now force the game number 5. All hail HyDra. That guy knows what's up.
Understandably so. I mean, maybe we could, I don't know, get a few more of those signs. Potentially, if he walks away with the series, he definitely deserves it. As we said, an MVP candidate, judged by many as the best player in the game, has himself an unreal performance there in the HyDra, and hopefully looks to help deliver this Subliners team a Game 5 dub, which, as we said, Jay, right now this man leads all players in overall S&D KD on the season. Do you look to him to maybe be that same impact player for New York, or are you looking at someone else?
No, he's definitely a guy who has the ability to take over on Hotel S&D. Talking about the flanks up through Shandy. Super fast attacking rounds where you're getting in power positions like couches over towards bedroom. HyDra has the ability to set the tone nice and early. But you see the map 2. Attached, the world champion, 10-5, 2.0 KD. Didn't have that best. Actually, no one from Minnesota had the best map number 4. Yeah. You got to completely shake that one off, because it's all about the Game 5. First one of champs, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's go, Vegas. Let's hope this is one of many here on the weekend. It's time to find out, can Minnesota deliver us with the stunner, or can New York get the reverse sweep? HyDra answering early with the first blood. Backs up and gives a little high five to P-Dog, who finds one in stride. Thankfully for Rokkr, they at least are able to drop one in the meantime, but are still down in man advantage.
Yeah, it's attach advance now. Left to try to clutch on up. You see the game plan for the Subliners. That's just all stack, hit a conga line right up through the diner. They take down attach. Now it's Bance left in the 1v3. Too many players from the Subliners in your line of sight. As HyDra starts it off with the first blood. Priestahh with the second. And then just keep themselves in the man advantage the entirety of the time. Great teamwork for New York on full display in round number 1.
You can tell Bance in that situation is like, okay, I guarantee I'm going to see somebody. Yeah. Then he sees everybody. Yep. So in a spot like that, you can tell for New York, feeling good. Paco, no, he just delivered a crucial blow there to Bance. Round 1, going the way of New York. I tell you what, man, for Minnesota, obviously you want to try to win as many rounds as possible, but it feels like round 2, round 3, you got to get something going your direction. You need to see something positive pop up on the scoreboard for once.
And did we just see HyDra with a sniper in hand? Like, this guy's just different. We always were talking about Skyz, his impact with the sniper. Yeah. But so far, it's been Priestahh in map number 2, HyDra now in map number 5. Skyz is trying to get out with his life. He does have that bomb in hand, and he's able to do so with great team shots coming in out of KiSMET. Right now, the Subliners, they're getting all the information. They know exactly how Minnesota are playing this. It's all about the adjustments from now.
Take a look at player number 8 as well. Priestahh rocking dead silence. He's just going to be below fame in a situation like that. So players just moments away from potentially going for the engagement. First blood, as we said, means so much in this game mode and in a Game 5. As everything goes on pause for a moment, chaos about to ensue, Jay.
Yeah, KiSMET invested that silence, takes full couches control. Right now, Minnesota Rokkr just playing this beautifully on defense. They're gonna run right into what Minnesota needs them to do. It's gonna fall into the hands of Bance. He at least finds the first blood. You do have one player in Priestahh with full bedroom control, but it's about stopping this bomb plan, and unfortunately, Cammy cannot. So New York have the opportunity as HyDra finds the third with the snipe attached in the 1v3.
It's all up to Mr. Price, puts in some shots, but surely this cannot go his way. An unbelievably clutch player, but 35 seconds to go. A to retake. Surely there's just no way. And with time continuing to dwindle, I think he realizes as well, maybe better to hold off. Not feed New York more. Not feed HyDra more. Looking for anybody to showcase a leg, showcase an arm. Finally gets the engagement, but it's New York again who comes out on top. 2 very solid rounds.
And that was such a slow round for both teams. New York, you can just tell on their attack, they were trying to see what Minnesota were going to do. It was early pressure up towards the A-bomb. You got Skyz to back down, but they were not worried about losing that positioning. They wrap their way back over towards A. They find the trade on towards Bance. Priestahh takes full control of bedroom. And then HyDra, it doesn't matter what gun he has in his hand, he's going to be able to find at least 1 kill. As the Subliners take 2 in a row, now up 2-0.
As we said, another round for Minnesota. You got to get on the board. Bance, the only player with a kill through our first 2, that it obviously has to change. Fame, who has been an unbelievable SD player on Hotel, quickly tagged up. A nade over the top is going to give New York numbers for the moment, but it's Cammy who comes away with the double. And just like that, we're talking about 2s. Now it's a 2v2. Bomb drop, but still plenty of time on the round.
And Cammy and Bance versus KiSMET and Priestahh. Bomb going to be down in towards main arch. Still a lot of time for Minnesota to work with. Bance invested that dead silence, trying to find the timing in towards bedroom. KiSMET is not going to get any sound cues that he's in his positioning. And now with Bance here, probably want to go for the chow, and he does. KiSMET makes him pay for it. Now it's Cammy in a 1v2.
And that's so frustrating, right? If you're Cammy, you don't even end up finding KiSMET as the trade. KiSMET with a huge 1v1. Delivers yet another blow that Minnesota cannot handle. In the clutch, New York come out on top again as they continue to stack up the chips.
Last 6 out of 7 times the Subliners have played Hotel S&D, they have found a W. They have played this map so much as of recent because this is one that they know they have to square up versus every single team. So far, that is 3 rounds in a row for New York. To now try to complete this reverse sweep, Minnesota Rokkr have to have a response here, and this is the round that I love out of them. When they force stack through the middle of the map, you have Attach watching that cross over towards A to not allow any players to sneak on by in towards bedroom. But it might not work in their favor because the New York Subliners, they're applying the pressure in towards Diner, HyDra. I thought he found a time, but the rookie takes him down. Minnesota, man advantage.
Just that one route that HyDra takes is maybe the one angle that Rokkr were not prepared for. Quite a bit of blood splattered already in this round. Minnesota finally able to get on the board, and the crowd is loving it, Jay.
Yeah, that's a much-needed one right there for Rokkr. Stacked through the map, whilst crosses towards both sides. Put yourself in a position to where you're instantly able to go for a trade. The guns engagements go down. Minnesota Rokkr now able to stop the bleeding, but now they're back on the attacking side. It's been multiple first bloods from the Subliners so far, 2 on their defense. Want to try to slow this one down, play for your info, but most importantly, play for that first kill.
That's the thing we talk about when it comes down to this map 5. Minnesota, their map choice, but for New York, there's a lot of VOD to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, this team has played it so many times. They've played it 14 times since Major 4. They've won 6 of their last 7 Hotel S&Ds. Rokkr, can you start to really weed out the strategy, start to figure things out? As I'm sure the brain is moving, the strategy's starting to be learned. This Rokkr will get that bomb down on B for free.
Now it's a 4v4 retake. Subliners have 3 players applying pressure through the back end. And 1 player in KiSMET invested that dead silence going for the super long route. Eventually leads to Fame, finding the first blood onto Skyz. Now Priestahh had to slow down, and KiSMET could not win the one-on-one. So now HyDra and Priestahh need a miracle to happen because it's not easy to break in towards the kitchen.
It's all up to P-Dog. He gets silenced. Minnesota, Jay, they come into that round with the plan and knew exactly what they wanted to do. Rush right in the kitchen, get the bomb down, make New York come to us before they can start to figure out what we're doing. And once they get there, it's the rookie who comes away with the first blood.
That's just another situation right there where Subliners get all the info early into the round. Same thing like map number 2 when Skyz watched them cross over towards B. You got to be quicker on that retake situation. You cannot allow that bomb to go down for free. At least open a couple doors, make it a little bit scary for the Rokkr players. By the time they get there, they relied on too many one-on-one gunfights, which eventually leads to Rokkr chaining 2 in a row now. Back into this search and destroy.
Bang!
Subliners go for the 2-2 split. HyDra again, with the sniper in hand, finds the first blood.
Guy can literally just do it all, Jay. As we said,
everything.
SMG, he and Skyz have been trading, having that sniper out. Wonderful work here from the French Phenom. Now it's 6-3. I would love to see a 7. We are in Vegas after all. Can he manage to snap? Røkkr down in numbers, and really the only player in here is distance up. This is going to be player number 2. Cammy hanging out in luggage. Thankfully, is still remaining. Dolphin dives to safety. So Røkkr, do not drop that second member just yet.
Yeah, they just got to make sure they're holding down Cammy in his positioning. Because with those doors open, he'll be able to spot anytime that they try to go for that bomb plant. Fame saves the nade. He's able to get KiSMET off of it now, but what happens to Attach? Fortunately, he nades himself, and now it's a 2v4.
Again, Fame should surely get sniffed out. He ends up getting eventually left now in a 1v4. Yeah, the pinch is there. If we have a replay, we'd love to see it. That is absolutely, Jay, where that round comes to a close.
Oh, yeah. Once Attach take care of himself, New York, no, we're in a 4v2. We got the positioning of at least one player towards bottom bed, and we also know where Cammy is towards bottom luggage. So let's just try to go for this bomb plant, keep ourselves in the man advantage. But to take a replay, look at it again.
Attach is already out.
Yeah, he's already dead. All right, that's the final 2 from Skyz. Subliners take the round. They're now up 4-2. But Attach is going to be beating himself up for that one. That could not happen, especially in this moment.
Yeah, in a situation like this, now down 2-4, Minnesota starting to build some momentum, trying to even things up at 3. Had such a wonderful start to this series, and they're going to need him to be on point. Now from this point forward, Bance, aggressive as you'd like. Much as that trophy get placed down, he's still looking for his first COD Champs trophy. But with Deddy popped, he's at least getting quite a bit of map positioning, and he's also gifted the first blood. Excellent start for Røkkr, Jay.
Big first kill right there out of Bance. Now that dead silence does reset, they have the ability to cover more ground without being heard. Now into 4v3, let's just get this bomb down. Let's force New York to retake in this scenario. All the players from the Subliners invest that dead silence. They know that Bance is in his positioning. KiSMET again wins that one-on-one to make it a 3v3.
And it's been versus Bance, I think, in both occasions. Yeah. KiSMET, unreal in a spot like that, but still a job to do. 3v3, time continues to tick. Cammy brought low. Fame ends up answering, however, he drops. Now we're the 2v2. Cammy, a big one. Røkkr, hold on. Despite some heroics in top bed from Kiz, Minnesota lock it down in a round that they had to take, Jay.
Such a crucial one, indeed, my friend. Bance starts it off with the first blood. You get the bomb down, you force New York to go for the retake. But then everyone was playing their life beautifully. Fame in towards Eldes. He wasn't popping up until Cammy needed help. He finds that kill, the trade is there. But then every single player from Minnesota wins a one-on-one gunfight. Take the round, now down 4-3. Such a back and forth search and destroy that we have had on our hands. But it's going to be the Subliners on the attack. Going back to the 2-2 split, old reliable, but this time it's HyDra with the SMG.
HyDra, clearly hungry. He's hanging out in the restaurant. And now will become the owner of it. Tosses out some utility, gets some map positioning, but from there, rest of the round is going to come down to the other arrows on the map. He does at least lure Attach into the top side of the map. Meanwhile, it could be the bomb that's rotating. Looked like a lot of min-map pressure, and now we begin to shift over into the restaurant. First pick still yet to be found. Still a decent amount of time on the clock.
Yeah, and Skyz is just putting out a couple shots over towards A. He's just trying to keep Minnesota at bay, continuously having the 2-2 split. They don't know where the pressure's coming in, but Fame with the first blood onto Priestahh finds the second kill onto HyDra.
What?
Don't know how he wins that, but Minnesota now in the 4v2, making a 4v1. Fame does it all through the middle of the map to take down 3. Minnesota Røkkr, we're down 0-3. They have tied the game at bat 4. That's up close and personal versus HyDra with an SMG. You do not see that happen. The rookie is not afraid of the moment. Minnesota tie the game up.
That's a kill that's basically like worth 5. Like you should add like a +5.
You should earn a cruise missile for that one.
Especially versus that guy. Fame not affected by the brightest stage that he has ever seen. Gets a hat trick, and look at that scoreline now. Minnesota right back in it. Into round 9 we go. Røkkr once again will have that objective on their back as Bance looks to lead the charge. We find another first blood here.
Oh, and he's making plays, man. He's covering so much ground. I don't know if the Subliners is going to be able to read this positioning. as the bomb is now going to get planted over towards A. It's another retake for New York. Every time that Minnesota have got the bomb down, they have found success. Can New York try to turn it around here?
A few players in through couches, mid-cross. Was watch there from KiSMET. Bance looking for information. Cammy has got to stay alive. Brought down low. KiSMET there to start things off. Fame again, as solid as you'd like. A statue ends up dropping another. New York currently inside of the bomb site. As Bance looks for info, you got players from Minnesota all over this site looking for information. Time continues to tick. He finds nothing. They find all three. New York, they find all three on the retake. What just happened?
That cannot happen. There was only 15 to 20 seconds left. All the players from New York had no info on where anyone from Minnesota was playing. Once you put down a couple shots through luggage, you at least get the positioning of one player. But Priestahh, once he wins that first gunfight, you know the second guy isn't towards luggage. You stack the bodies just in case you try to go for the defuse and eventually find the final. But that's a round that Minnesota Rokkr definitely want back. You can't give that one up. It now puts the Subliners at game point.
What do we think, Vegas? Is it done here? Or are we headed to a round 11? Minnesota, one they gift away. They cannot afford to make another mistake in one as valuable as that. New York on the attack, looking for info. First blood would mean everything right now, especially for the Minnesota side.
In Minnesota, they're going back to old reliable. Let's just stack through the map, watch the cross over towards bedroom. Put down a couple shots on the cross, but that's just teamwork on full display right there from the Subliners. Early shots from Skyz, leads to HyDra finding the first blood, and there's too many bodies for Bance in his positioning. It's now a 4v2. The rookie and Cammy left to clutch up.
Man, he's gonna be ready. He's gonna be ready. Oh, Priestahh wins another. It's all on to Cammy. No upset today. New York says place your bets on us. Down 0-2. And they fire back with the reverse sweep to kick us off here at Champs.
And that's how we start Champs 2023. Two-time major champions go down 0-2 versus a team that they just 3-0'd 2 weeks ago. But they know job is not done until the series says 3 for the opposite side. They start the fight back. In the control, they close out 3-1. The HyDra hardpoint was an absolute slammage. But when you got to the game 5, it was just an early success from the Subliners to go up 3-0, have a nice little comfortable lead, knowing how Minnesota liked to play the map, and then make the adjustments going forward. HyDra with the snipe, Priestahh with multiple first bloods. Subliners are two-time champ for a reason, and it was on full display there. They complete the reverse sweep for our first series at Champs, man. This is only number 1, bro.
That's exactly right. I know, we felt like we casted like 2 different series.
Yeah.
Minnesota start, New York's finish. But I'd be remiss, Jay, to not bring up, we obviously need to highlight New York.
Oh, yeah.
But right now, we should be in round 11. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We should be in round 11, had that play for Minnesota
100%. Minnesota, they're going to beat themselves up for that one because there's only 15 seconds left. They have to defuse the bomb. At least one player has to drop his gun to stick that bomb defuse. When you put down a couple bullets through a door, at least New York get the info that no one has an angle to at least watch the bomb. Yeah. They all have to eventually go for the chow, and then at that point, Subliners win all those gunfights in that moment. That was the deciding factor in this entire series.
Yeah, that's the best way that we could possibly have to start off Champs. A lovely little game 5, but that's going to do it for myself and Jay as we now toss it over to the main stage. We've got Blaze with our guy, Priestahh.
Hey, once again, everybody, welcome to COD Champs, okay? Give it up for the New York Subliners. I got P-Dog on the main stage, and, you know, you guys won Major 5. In this series, down 0-2. You would have lost that. You would have been down horrendously. But how are you feeling right now after that comeback?
I mean, it feels great to start off a tournament like that. You know, we definitely didn't want to lose the round 1. So coming out and doing that, we got the blood flowing, and I think that's going to lead it into our next matches for sure.
Yeah, I think it definitely will. Now, I don't know how well aware you are when it comes down to your control stats, and when you win that map, how you guys take over series. After you locked in that control, talk to me about your mindset, the comms going into game 4 and 5. Were you guys fully confident right there?
Oh yeah, I mean, to be honest, Mercado can be an iffy map for us sometimes. This is kind of a coin flip in certain situations, and honestly, they came out and played it well. But going into the third map, we kind of just knew we were going to bring it back. Like, all of us went to the back, none of us lost full. We were super confident. Like, we just knew, like, we all had the trust that we were going to make that comeback.
Yeah, man, and we all saw it on the stage, okay? And Priestahh, when it comes down to your skill and gameplay throughout the season, it has been magnificent watching you on the come up once again. Talk to me about what you want to say to the fans out there, the Subliner fans, your personal fans out here while you're here at Champs.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the fans, my family, my friends, everyone out here. I mean, you guys are going insane. This arena's sick, man. I'm excited to keep playing.
It's so sick, okay? Keep up the energy all weekend long. That's going to do it for me and Priestahh on the stage. Chris, take it away.
Thank you so much, Blaze, and congratulations to New York. The city will be celebrating a reverse sweep from the Subliners to open up COD Champs. Welcome back, everybody. This is your analyst desk. We've got Nameless, we've got Alley Cat, and the three-time is joining us this week. And Clayster, I want to start with you. You played the Subliner squad. They 3-0'd you. Minnesota, they were up 2-0, though. How does the Subliners squad bounce back and rattle off 3-0 again?
I think the Subliners in previous iterations of this team, they would have lost full. They would have been broken after going down 0-2. But honestly, it's a testament to the growth of this team, the maturity in this team. They've come back from worse, and you can see it right now. Right there in that interview, Priestahh said, none of us lost full. We all knew we were going to win. We just had to bounce back, and it showed right there, 3 straight.
Absolutely. Now, Allie, we got to talk a lot about New York. But first, can we give some credit to Minnesota? Because this whole desk, we all picked New York. Some people even said 3-0. Minnesota came out with games 1 and 2.
No, that was an incredible performance from Minnesota Røkkr. I think their biggest misstep in that series had to be letting that HyDra hardpoint come through. I mean, we've seen what New York and what KiSMET and HyDra specifically have done on that map and mode, and I mean, they're 5-11 as well for the Minnesota Røkkr. I think they test their luck when it comes to hotel or something else. Personally, I even said it before this series started that HyDra hardpoint was going to be kind of the safety net for New York Subliners, and clearly 250-68, it gave them the momentum that they needed into that game number 5.
And most importantly, they drew hotel for their game 5. And Nameless, this has been the bread and butter of the New York squad over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you know, I feel like in this map set, Chris, you're okay with splitting those hard points, right? Like, you got one of them. It comes down to, can we win both search and destroys? And we get to that game 5, and New York have 3 fantastic search and destroy maps: Mercado, Hotel, and aBeZy. And if you're Minnesota, you got rid of aBeZy, and you picked Hotel in this series. They picked that map number 5. They could have played Fortress and made it sort of a toss-up. I think that is maybe a missed opportunity for them. But like we said, there's a lot of preparation that goes into these games, and they pushed them to a game number 5, Chris. This is a major championship squad. Minnesota definitely played up to their competition. New York's coming out on top.
New York powers forward. They will be playing against the winner of OpTic Texas or Boston Breach in the next round of the winner's bracket, but we're going to see Minnesota now drop down to that elimination bracket. Allie, if they're going to stay alive in this tournament, who looked good on day 1 that you want to see return on day 2?
I think they all had their moments throughout this entire series. I think we saw Cammy maybe that we were waiting for. I think Bance had a great game number 5, and Attach was a monster in the first 2 maps of this series. So I don't think we can count them out yet. I think for Minnesota Røkkr in that game 5, they just needed to be a little bit more confident in the plays that they were making. There was many opportunities where a player looked like he was going to be in an opportune situation and then slowed down just a little bit as if he was second guessing himself. So Minnesota Røkkr, painful way to lose, but to fight it all the way there to that game number 5 against our major 5 champions, we can't count them out yet.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Subliners. They won Toronto. They win their first match of the day, and they also score your first scuff play of the game. Let's take a look at it. Clay, you called this guy the GOAT backstage. Young HyDra, the Phenom, was doing work on HyDra, opening things up 25-10.
Honestly, the way HyDra has grown as a player, it makes me so happy to see. I'm a proud dad over here. He's just moving around the map. This HyDra performance was insane. We lost the map to them about this scoreline in an online qualifier. They are so well practiced, so well put together on HyDra. You really just can't watch every route. There's too many routes.
Yeah, we got a stat from our guy Tim. This is the biggest differential we've seen in hardpoint, right? So they absolutely fried them on this map. And you know, we were talking about New York, like the ability HyDra has to just get lost. Like, he's able to cheat steps, and his teammates will make up for it, you know, later in the game. It's just unreal.
HyDra on HyDra. That is our top performance so far on the weekend. But remember, this is just day 1 of 4, and that is match 1 of a billion. Let's take a look, though, at what we got moving forward, because we still have 3 more battles here on the opening day of action. Up next, you are going to see the showdown of Atlanta FaZe versus Seattle Surge. We got OpTic Texas versus Breach, and we'll close things out with Toronto versus LA, all here on day number 1. We want to thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure you are joining us. Get your collection started right now with Upper Deck. Today, you can get the 2021 Call of Duty League trading cards by Upper Deck, the official trading card partner of the CDL. Collect your favorite teams and players on UpperDeckEback.com or scan the QR code on your screen. And of course, we got the Shop Alley, the best and brightest gear. New York Subliners showcasing their hoodies that are on this website.
Yeah, you want to look like your favorite players up on stage? Make sure you check out shop.callofdutyleague.com and get some swag.
We're going to break. When we come back, it is battle number 2 on the day. The number 1 seed takes on number 8. It's Atlanta Surge after this.